Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as you know, if you've been a fan of the channel and visited with me, is Whiteboard Thursday, and today we're going to do something different. The name of this video, or at least the name of this whiteboard, depending on what my team decides, is Master Your Market. Now, the reason I decided on this subject today is because I talked to a client earlier today, and I oftentimes talk about hacks and all these different things on this channel. What I rarely talk about, because I find it very self-promoting, is case studies from some of our larger, more successful clients. And this client falls into every bucket. So imagine for a moment that you call into us 18 months ago and say that you want to dominate like a market. And I won't mention what market, I'll just say a local market, an enclosed market, like a 20, 30 mile square market, heavily populated, very wealthy, so on and so forth, all right? All of these things are true, by the way. Those are all descriptors of this customer. So 18 months go by and we were talking about adding yet another layer to their marketing efforts. In this case, we're talking about retargeting, remarketing. For those of you that don't know, that's advertisement that follows you around. Throughout a 20-year team history, this particular customer had 20,000 warm names numbers. And as part of the request, which was a consultative request, to go in and discuss this marketing with them and talk about display assets, they then said, hey, it just came up as part of the conversation. Like, what would happen if we turned around and sold the website today? It's 18 months into it. And we discovered that just using traffic valuation, the website would be sold for over $200,000. Okay, they own the site. They've put a lot of work into it. This is not something that happened easily or overnight. But they already have about 20 or 30,000 people coming to the website every month. We started from zero with a new domain name. These are major Grand Slam kind of achievements in my industry. They compete readily with Zillow, Trulia, and Redfin. They are beating them in many of the top local searches. And the valuation that we did was without a huge amount of actual GCI. In other words, the valuation that I was doing was based solely on the value of the traffic that the website is already getting. All right. So the interesting part about that case study is it's legitimate. You can go from 0 to 18 months. The number that I gave you, 210,000, would represent probably a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ROI just on what they've already invested. The way that we built out this project would mean that the people that might viably buy the website would not just be real estate people. It could be restaurateurs, it could be entrepreneurs. They would sell the website relatively easy in comparison to other people, because we built out a lifestyle news-based website that also was focused on real estate. And we are just starting to see the traction, okay? And when I say we're just starting, I'm pretty confident about that, because we're 18 months into it. In the last 90 days, they've seen 150% increase in traffic, and their traffic was already in the thousands. So we're just taking off. We're just seeing the beginning. By the time everything is said and done, if their website growth continues as I would expect, they'll have 50 to 100,000 visitors every month, and the site will be worth easily $1 million, probably before the 2.5-year mark. Now, that is the case study, and it's real, and I'm working on them with a collaboration so that I can publish some of this information online in the form of a testimonial review and case study. They're in the middle of their busy season right now, so it's not going to happen, but probably before too long. I've got 2 massive case studies. The first 2 I've done in many years from 2 major customers, one coming from Sierra Interactive, one coming from a start from scratch, build it up from zero WordPress real estate website. Now, the history. So it's important that everybody knows that as part of this case study, it's an experienced team who have been entrepreneurs before, have built up businesses, and hesitated not at all to make big investments into digital. Not even for a second, okay? There's a lot that goes into this. These are very clever people that took the work that we did, the guidance that we gave them, and every time we gave them, like, we should do a guide, like we would do a guide, and then they would go out on their own and do 10 guides. Like it was incredibly proactive and prolific team that just took every single suggestion, didn't just run with it, ran with it to the highest degree possible, to the heights that their imagination could achieve, because they were aligned with what you need to be aligned with in order to have the kind of success I'm describing. And that is, you want to really dominate a market, you want to master the entire market, and you want every single search. And by the way, another thing that we discovered in the case study, they're ranking #1 all across the board in every single large language model that's out there. That's AI, for those who are unfamiliar with the core term. Okay, so Gemini, ChatGPT, you name it, we're ranking. Anywhere you look, for almost anything you look, you're already finding them. But by the time we're done, they'll be dominant. They'll be #1. They're not #1, but you can find them. What it takes, the history of this is very, very similar. So let's just say that you're the viewer of this video and you're saying, that sounds great, Robert. What would it take? Well, aside from the dollars and cents, the investment, it's more of like a mental and emotional commitment. It's a mental and emotional commitment to service. Because the first thing you have to do if you're going to be, wildly successful, like the case study that I'm telling you, where you're going to have a website worth $1 million in under like 2.5 years. What's the mindset? The mindset is you need to be of service, that you need to be a lifestyle ambassador, everything that you can do. In this particular case, the guides that they've done are so in-depth, and it's on restaurants and activities and things that are happening this summer in real time, events that this team actually attends themselves. They are part of the community that they are representing, and they're very committed and dedicated to basically being out in the fabric of the community and writing about it and telling it to everybody and making sure like all the details are covered. Like if you're going to talk about, let's say, pickleball courts, it's when's the best time to get a court? How do you make a reservation? Does it cost anything? Are the courts open at night? I can go on and on. These are the granular details that make content on the web incredibly valuable to everybody using it. Then even more valuable when you have all this information in a single place. So you become the de facto resource for anybody who's looking for lifestyle information. And then, oh, by the way, you also sell real estate, which, by the way, being a lifestyle king, it's not even an ambassador at the level that we're talking about. Being the obvious choice for somebody that knows the area becomes anybody moving into the area, anybody doing a bilateral move, anybody silvering out of a home, a nesting home that's been a generational home that decides to get sold in the probate process. All of those things, you become a de facto choice, except in the rare case when, let's say, you're up against maybe a probate specialist, something like that, or a divorce specialist. Then you probably aren't going to be the first call, but everybody else, you will be, because combined with all of the content that I'm describing, the lifestyle stuff, there's deep real estate pieces too. And the ability, when I say real estate pieces, it's like the way that I coach my clients is to tell them to do case studies the same way I'm doing with you. Describe the experience of a customer journey. Make sure that the person who's reading it understands what all the major touch points inside the relationship and experience were. Did you move from someplace else? Because in this case, they get traffic from places like New York and New Jersey. So you go, did you move from someplace else? Is this like a second home or retirement home? So what was the process? How did somebody find you? What questions did they ask? What were their main concerns? Things of that nature. And when you describe that case study to a very high degree, you're going to speak to a very small handful of the people that are going to find the site, but the ones that you speak to are going to go, this is my person. This is the person I need to be doing business with. So in my case, doing a case study is we started from scratch. We had no website to compete against. They took down something from somebody else, which again, out of respect for both the consumer, the customer mind, and the competitor, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but we took something down, but it wasn't WordPress and they didn't own it. And then we propped up a WordPress website that they do own using our core technology, which is based on content marketing. It is designed and developed for exactly this specific use that we're talking about. The takeaway here should be this. For some of you, there will be a very small handful of people that watch this video that go, you're my guy. A lot of you are brand new realtors moving in from other industries. Maybe you've been part-time. These are a lot of the calls that I get. but something I've said or done appeals to you specifically. So I get these calls, right? But the takeaway is this. You have an option. There's a couple of options here. Believe it or not, you do not need to be these guys with like a big pocketbook, the willingness to invest, a past experience as entrepreneurs, which means taking big swings when you're used to opening and running businesses. This is what you do. It's scary as all get out. Most realtors are never put in the position that not only do they have to be a commission-only salesperson, but they also invest heavily. The most that most realtors do is take like $1,000, and eventually what they do is they build it up into a much bigger budget. Well, the same thing can be done with SEO. If you weren't this guy, these people, then what you would do, the takeaway here is, could you start and theoretically end up here in like 5 years with a much lower investment? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. That's one of the takeaways is this. Number one, this is a case study in which I'm explaining to you why this is so different. Could you sell a Sierra Interactive website even with the same traffic for the same amount of money I just described? No, you could not, especially since they just sold the company. There's nobody that's going to buy it for that amount. It's too unstable. There's no control. You are not even sure that Sierra Interactive won't sell themselves and close down, which, by the way, in case everybody thinks I'm embellishing for effect, that's what just happened to LionDesk not that long ago. LionDesk, which is the #1 real estate CRM, got bought, and then a year and a half later mothballed. Okay, there is no more LionDesk. So when you say, I don't know if that hits right, well, trust me, it hits right. One of the big things that real estate people in tech do, like Zillow bought Follow Up Boss. All right, that's great if you're Follow Up Boss and you want an exit. But the theory is they're saying we're going to use this to enhance the value of our advertising platforms. Maybe they will. But they also could have just looked at it as some form of competitor, and maybe they wanted the core engineering, maybe they wanted to see the usage data at the size that Zillow is. They can afford to spend $500 million to get that data, and it's worth it to them. It's also worth it to them to close it down if they need to. Okay, so you are never guaranteed anything unless you have control over your individual license and some kind of contract that says that you have that control. And the only people that really give that out right now is WordPress. So the takeaway here is this is one of those case studies where do you really want to see what the value, it happens. There are really people out there that come in through the door and from zero to a couple years from now, they develop websites and results that dominate markets, make 50 to 1, 100 to 1 ROI, and that's before they sell the website. When you get to a point where you've branded yourself correctly and you can sell the website and you have GCI history, the $1 million that I said, or 2 million, whatever the number is, guess what, guys? They're going to be able to sell that plus all the GCI. As long as they can prove it comes directly from the site, you now have 2 areas of value that you can sell. You can sell the traffic value. That's how much you would have to spend in pay-per-click dollars to get the same traffic to the site. It has a core fundamental value. Those numbers always go up, not down. So usually when you're trying to use somebody to sell it, they're looking at the traffic and going, well, it's worth at least that, because somebody, and at least 12 months of that, at least, minimum. In this case study, it is only worth 12 months because it's an 18-month-old website. But by the time it's a 4-year-old website, and let's say there's $2 million in GCI attached to it, and there's a traffic value, the website will no longer be worth whatever, $1 million, 200,000, whatever the number is. It'll now be worth 4 times that much. It'll be worth millions of dollars. When these guys decide to exit, and they will exit with somewhere between a $1 and $10 million parachute. That's $1 to $10 million that you're not going to get because you don't own and control your website. You've never taken the time. The numbers that get left on the table are enormous by most real estate agents. Yes, there's a lot of work involved. There's a ton of work involved in this. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is doable and it gets done oftentimes. Usually we have 1 or 2 of these home runs of this size, of this magnitude, every single year. Okay? how would you start? If you're sitting here going, okay, Robert, I'm convinced I want to own my own site, I want to master my market, blah, 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 blah. All right, so how would you go about that? Honest to God, the person that offers a starting method into this is us. This is a straight up, sorry, self-promotion piece. I apologize to all of you. I don't usually do that many of these. I don't like doing them all that much, but I got to tell you that there's no other game in town. We can do like a site that would focus on hyperlocal. That's how I would do it. I would do the Google business profile with a website combo that would focus on your Google local searches. So any search that's like how to find a realtor, best realtor in, what do I need to look for when I'm looking for a realtor in city names, best realtor in city name, luxury realtor in city name, just realtors near me, realtors, realtor, all those searches get connected into a Google business profile. Any of you on a device right now can do that search and you'll see the results, and you'll see real estate agents have their name in both sponsored ads and as well as organic ads. And Google has recently expanded the reach of the sponsored ads to connect them into Google Maps. So now you'll see the sponsored ads on the Google Maps as well, where the text is larger and there's a bigger name, a bigger presentation for those people who are doing LSA ads, so local service ads. So we have a package that's aimed at that. It's our least expensive package. It's a couple $1,000s for a website, $500 a month for the advertising campaign. That website could be built into the site that we've got for these guys. No change, no redesign, no anything. You have to add in the content, you have to follow along, but let's just say that you're not 7-year entrepreneurs and with a history and the kind of drive, determination, and track record of success that this particular team had. Let's just say you've got none of that, but you'd like it. Well, you'd start small. And what you would do is you'd build out one of these websites, and you would use, we're the only service in town because we coach you up at the same time that we're running your marketing. You actually get an assigned account rep that then tells you what to do, what kind of content to produce, what devices to use. All the things I talk about on all my channels is actually given to you as part of our service. So for the same price that you could get like coached by Tom Ferry, you actually could get a website and and coaching, and then the actual 80% of the work done for you as well. The level of value that we deliver versus other people is insane because, unfortunately, real estate agents are taken to the street. They're taken to the cleaners when it comes to value for dollars that you spend on marketing and coaching and things like that. It's just insane what you guys are charged in order to learn like basic skills, like basic digital marketing skills. Can we make you a master for the coaching that we give? No, but we can make you like basically proficient. Like you can know what to say and how to say it and what to use to say it. All those things are taken care of. All right. So when you say master your market, I'm going to say a good step in the right direction is to use a calendar link either on my website. My InboundREM about page has a link to my calendar. There will probably be a link to my calendar in the description of this video. Anybody that calls me in privately can get access to, I'll walk you through a consultation process, and assuming that you're qualified, I will then, I'll show you some of these case studies so that you can actually get, develop an expectation and understanding of what the actual trophy looks like when everything goes according to plan. All right, that's it. I've been Robert Newman. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate it. If you didn't hate this video, give me a thumbs up.